Welcome to another StereoPhoto Maker tutorial. This time we're going to talk about creating stereo cards using StereoPhoto Maker. You could create a stereo card by printing each half of your stereo pair on a separate piece of paper and then mounting those on a piece of cardboard. But StereoPhoto Maker allows you to make a print that has both halves on it that you can paste, trim and then paste on without having to worry about aligning the two sides. And it also allows you to add text below or in some cases on the sides in a variety of kind of predefined formats. So I'm not going to talk as much about physically constructing the cards as some videos do. I've got links in the description to some videos that describe that, but I'll just talk about how to get a file that you can send to your drugstore or online printer and get it back in a format that's easy to trim and mount. So first, let's open a stereo image. So this is a 4:3 aspect ratio image, and you may be the sort of person who wants to show the whole width of what you originally took, or you may have an image where it doesn't really, the composition doesn't lend itself to a squarish crop, where you want to keep the whole width. So the simplest thing to do is to create you can create a stereo card that shows the image in its full width. So a little bit counterintuitively, you go to File, and then there's Print Stereo Card. So there are a number of options here. I'm going to go with you can see there's actually two custom card options. There's one at the top and one at the bottom of the dropdown. I'm going to go with the one at the top. And you can see there's a huge amount of empty space here. That's because I had left the canvas size previously to 8.5 by 11. I'm going to change this to 6 horizontal by 4 vertical. And now we've got something that's fits a drugstore, say 4:6 print. And you could save this. You could quick print and print it yourself, but I don't recommend that. Most inkjet printers, you can see the dots too easily under the magnification of a viewer. I'm told that dye sublimation printers don't have that problem as much, so if you've got one of those, go ahead. But you can quick save as, and it will save it as a JPEG or what have you. Unfortunately, it's going to try to give you the same name as the original file, so you might want to add something like that before saving. But I'm not going to save this. Just want to show you how you save it, and then you can send that off to your printing service. But let's go back to print stereo card. The trouble with this is it's butting right up against the edges, and your printer may be different, but I find that my drugstore tends to cut off a bit at the and edges of the print, which is a little bit annoying. You can you can account for that on the top and bottom by clicking on Print Center, but that doesn't help you too much on the left and the right. So what you may want to do is up the canvas size a little bit. So I find that my drugstore tends to lop off maybe 2% of the print. So instead of 6 inches, I'm going to add 2% to that, which would be 6.12. And I'm going to add 2% to the Y, so that's 4.08. So because I've done this proportionately, the aspect ratio of the final print is going to stay the same. That's what you should strive for. Click OK, and now you can see I've got a little bit of breathing room on the sides and the top. Most likely, if I sent this to the drugstore to get printed, I wouldn't have this, in the end, I wouldn't have this red strip, but I would have the all of the image area there. So why a 4:6 print? Well, there's a couple reasons. One, there are viewers like the older Oreo viewers that are designed for 4:6 prints. Another thing you can do with this is if you were to make a full-sized, old-fashioned format stereo view, those are typically 7 inches wide, but the image area on those is only 6 inches wide. So you could have this print made, cut it a bit at the top and the bottom, to fit the say a 3.5 inch high mount, and then mount it, and then you'd have blank strips at the side, but it would fit into a stereoscope. Another thing I guess I have forgot to mention is, of course, you don't have to leave the default titles in there. It'll show you in real time, if as you alter them. So if I start typing X's there, you can see they turn up as X's in the final print. I'll get rid of those. You have not a lot of choices of text size, but you can change the font if you want. I'm going to show you so 4, 3, 2, 1. So you can make the text quite small if you so desire. If you like arched tops, you can click on Arch. If you like rounded corners, you can click this round rect thing, and it's basically a rectangle, but you can see the corners have been rounded. So another thing that's maybe worth knowing about, you can click on Show Rectangle, and that will show the image area with the text on it, and in effect give you guidelines that you could use for trimming. So that is the top custom card format. If you wanted to print a 7-inch wide stereoscope card that would fit in a stereoscope, you have the option of going to so-called classic stereo card. Note that this is not the same as Holmes card. For some reason, when it's going Holmes card, is going to be 6 by 4, but we can click on this for a classic 7 by 3.5. And things look a bit messed up because it's the canvas size is still set to our slightly over 4 by 6. But I'm going to change this back to the nominal 7, 3.5. If you need to increase that for your printer, you can do that. So you get, with this one, you get text on the sides and text at the bottom, but you only get the text on the bottom in the lower right, which is may not be what you want. Maybe that's adequate for you. But since I've changed the canvas size to 7 by 3.5, if I save this, I'll get something suitable for a 7 by 3.5 print. But your drugstore that isn't probably a standard print size. So what you might want to do is set X to 7 and Y to 5, and then you have something that would print as a 5 by 7 print. And that's a standard size. In the end, when you trim it down, you're going to have got rid of a lot of the top and the bottom. Now, obviously, this is going to be a little weird for old-fashioned card, because the old-fashioned cards normally had a fairly square image format. So I'm going to go back to 7 by 3.5 for the time being, and click cancel. But SPM gives you preset cropping options for those different stereo formats. So if I go to the down arrow by the cropping button and select free cropping options, I'm going to click on Classic Stereo Card, and it automatically loads a nearly square but slightly higher than it is wide aspect ratio. Click OK, and I can now I get my cropping lines. I can click the mouse button and hold it down, and it allows me to set any size within that same aspect ratio. I'm going to go, in this case, all the way to the top, release the button. Now I have my rectangle, but it hasn't cropped yet because it's given me this 4-sided arrow, which I can use to move that rectangle around by holding down the mouse button. As soon as I release the mouse button, it's going to crop. So release, then I've cropped to something that was suitable for, looks much more like an old-fashioned stereo card. So I can go to File, Print Stereo Card, and this will actually even look better with the arched tops than the wider image did. So, and again, you could up the canvas size to make this suitable to print as a 5 by 7. Now, that is a relatively expensive way to make stereo cards. By taking a whole 5x7 with one card. You can typically do it cheaper by putting three cards on a single 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So let's set the canvas size to 8.5 and X by 11. This is a standard American print size and paper size. We'll click OK. And so here we've got our first card on this 8.5 by 11 sheet. Now it allows you to add an image to that. So I can click Add Image. I can open another image. I'm not going to save this one, but let's just throw in this guy. We'll crop him as before. Three cropping options, classic stereo card. And I go to File, Print Stereo Card. And now it's got by default the same titles as the first one. Once you've exited the dialog after making the first one, whatever you had in there for the titles is frozen. You can't go back easily and change that. But you can see if I start adding X's here, they'll show up by the second print. So I can clearly change the titles, all three of them if I like, for the second print. And then to add a third print, I click Add Image again, File, Open Stereo Image. Not going to save the modified version. And don't have to crop, but I'll repeat that again. Classic stereo card. File, print stereo card. And then I could change the titles again for this. So if I save this, I will have something that is of a size that I could send to the drugstore or online printer and get back an 8.5 by 11 sheet, which I can then cut down and get three stereo cards. So that's if you're making a lot of them, that's a cheap way to do it. So I'm going to click cancel there. And let's go back and start from our original stereo image. There are a couple of other options for, let's see, I can remove image, and then reset the canvas size to, say, 6x4, and change this back to, there's this thing called Holmes card. Is actually pretty much the same as the custom card if you set it to 4x6, except that the text is up at the top here instead of at the bottom. There are also a couple of formats that are a little more unusual. There's like a 6x13 format. That is, the 6x13 is in centimeters, and then paren 6x4 means it's going to put those on a 6x4 print. The 6x13, there are some older stereoscopes designed for medium format, or there was, I think, a popular glass plate format in that size that you could trim a 6x4 print down to. There's cabinet card, which I don't know, if you, I don't know why you would use that format. It looks a little awkward, but it's there for you if you want to. And then there's this second custom card option. So if I click on that, like the original custom card option, it puts the titles down at the bottom. But unlike the original one at the top, you see that settings. If I go to the top one, the settings button is not there. So if I go to the bottom one, settings allows me to fine tune the card width, the card height, left margin, center, top, bottom margin, etc. So that gives you more control over what your card, your 6x4, say, card will look like. So hopefully that will get you started at making stereo cards. Let me show one other trick here. Um, I had mentioned that I like to have some text at the bottom that is visible in both views when I make a custom stereo card. And we saw that you only get text in the lower corner when we do the classic stereo card. So I'm going to crop this down uh, for a classic card, as we did before. And then I can do edit, add text. Where is that? There it is. And I can put like my title here. And if I'm using a text zone and that's centered in the bottom, and I've got the font set actually probably a little bit high. I'll knock that down to maybe 48. More sensible size. And you can change the zone color. And here I've changed it to match the color of the background in the print stereo card dialog. So if I click OK here, I now have title on the bottom, and I can go to File, Print Stereo Card, and it's going to 7 by 3.5 because that's what I had previously used the crop for. I can need to change the canvas size to match that. And I guess I didn't get the color matched quite right, but you can see now I have a title under each view, so I can easily read the title when it's in the stereoscope. And if I want to, I can continue to have this uh, attribution at the bottom, the copyright notice, whatever, or I can just get rid of that if I like. Another thing is this allows you to move the card up and down by clicking up or down in that dialog there, according to taste. So, so that's a little more elaborate version of your classic stereo card. Okay, so there are lots of options for this, and tastes vary on what you want with a card. But hopefully, you'll find an option in there that suits your vision. And I hope this helps. Thanks for watching.